Hey, what's happening, friends? It's Dean from Electronisounds. Stick around. Today, I'd like to show you how I'm combining miRack on the iPad with real-world Eurorack using the befaco AC-DC audio interface module. Now, this module is very similar to using any other audio interface with an iPad, except that this one is in Eurorack format, making it really easy to just, combine with Eurorack modules. And also, this is a DC coupled audio interface. And what that means is that means I can not only send audio information into and out from the iPad, but I can also send gates, triggers, any CV information that I want into the module to talk to the iPad or from miRack on the iPad to talk to this module. All I need to do inside of miRack is use the standard audio input. I just adjust that so that it has 8 inputs, and then 4 of those inputs are seen by the AC/DC audio interface. Conversely, to get the audio or the CV information out of miRack into this module to talk to the real-world Eurorack, all I need to do is use the audio output module. Expand that to 8 outputs. They don't have a 4 output version per se, but then outputs 1 through 4 will correspond with the outputs 1 through 4 on the AC/DC audio interface. Now, how I'm connecting that interface to the iPad is it's got, a USB connection at the bottom. So I've got one USB cable between the iPad and the interface, okay? It's plugged in to an Apple USB-C digital AV multi-port adapter. I've got links to that down in the description if you need one of those. Just make sure that it is the Apple brand adapter, because anything other than that either won't work or won't work eventually. Apple brand for Apple products, guys. The reason that I'm using this adapter instead of just plugging, the USB directly into the iPad is this has an extra port and allows me to charge the iPad while I'm working. And trust me, you're going to want that. When you're working, with 2 or 3 hour sessions, with your stuff, you don't want to have to worry about the iPad running out of juice. Okay, so what are we actually going to take a listen to in this example? This is the first time that I've connected miRack up with real-world Eurorack in this way. So all of the sounds today are coming out of miRack. I've loaded a lot of my drum samples into some drum samplers and programmed a drum beat. That's coming through a mixer in miRack out to one of the audio outputs, okay? And I'm running that audio into a low-pass mixer so that I can filter the drums a little bit if I want to. And then all of the audio is being run through a stereo mixer here, another mixer from befaco. Not another mixer from befaco, but another module from befaco. And then I'm taking the main outs of this module here, and I'm running that into a limiter. I'm getting the limiter from the Happy Nerding Effects Aid Pro. I'm also using 2 more Effects Aid Pros to process the audio that's coming out of the iPad. I've got a vinyl noise simulation sound, which is adding like some, vinyl wear and some vinyl noise. It's a really great algorithm in the Effects Aid Pro. These come with 200 different algorithms, and I've just picked these up. I'm really in love with them so far. The Happy Nerding Effects Aid Pro. All right. And then the next one here is I'm using to process the synth lead coming out of miRack. And this is an emulation of the Mutable Instruments Clouds reverb. So I've got a vinyl emulation, I've got a Clouds reverb, and I've got a limiter on the master bus essentially, so that I can kind of glue all of my levels together and keep everything from going over the 0 decibel. What we're going to be listening to is just a simple beat that I programmed in miRack, and then I'm using a Turing machine here to create a lead sequence. I can, randomize that sequence or lock that sequence down. So we've got just sort of an ever-evolving sequence. I'm using the cloud generator oscillator for this. And then I'm also using the music thing Turing excuse me, the Turing machine from Music Thing Modular to create our bass line. So we've got sort of an ever-evolving bass line, which is coming from the Treasure oscillator. So we've got just basically some drums and two melodic lines, and all of the audio from miRack is being routed through the befaco AC/DC and through these real-world modules. Let's take a listen to what this sounds like.